Two YouTube moms sentenced for multiple counts of aggravated child abuse. A Colorado man who was charged with attempted murder was arrested in St. George. And could Utah be seeing a ban on flavored vapes in the future?
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Amy Bennett. The two women who were known for their mental health and child-rearing YouTube and social media content appeared in district court on Tuesday for sentencing on multiple counts of aggravated child abuse. Cody Blowers has more on the hearing and what the defendants had to say.
Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt, two YouTube influencers, appeared in 5th District Court in St. George for sentencing on 4 counts of aggravated child abuse, charges that pair pleaded guilty to in December. Washington County Attorney Eric Clark said this.
She committed horrible acts of child abuse.
From May to August in 2023, Ms. Frankie and her business partner held her 2 children, ages 9 and 11, turning 12, in a concentration camp-like setting. The children were regularly denied food, water, beds to sleep in, and virtually all forms of entertainment.
Frankie's defense attorney Lamar Winward said this.
In the very early days of my involvement with Ruby, she was somewhat defensive, and she was still very much indoctrinated into a philosophy that was destructive. She is open to feedback and addressing the consequences of her actions head on, and now ready to address your honor and accept your judgment.
Frankie said this during her statement.
I was led to believe that this world was an evil place. My choice to believe and behave this paranoia culminated into criminal activity for which I stand before you today ready to take accountability.
Hildebrandt's attorney, Douglas Terry, said this.
My experience with Ms. Hildebrandt is that she is not the person that she has been portrayed to be. As is always the case in cases that come before courts, there are 2 sides. She has accepted responsibility in this case. She has entered into this plea agreement with a stipulated sentence of 4 consecutive sentences. She accepts responsibility and she accepts the consequences.
Hildebrandt had this to say.
I sincerely love these children. I desire for them to heal physically and emotionally. One of the reasons I did not go to trial is that I did not want them to emotionally relive the experience which would have been detrimental to them. My hope and prayer is that they will heal and move forward to have beautiful lives. I am willing to submit to what the state feels will be an appropriate amount of time served to make retribution.
Here is what District Judge John J. Walton had to say during the hearing.
Your conduct in this case was disastrous for these children. Adults are supposed to protect children. Adults with specialized training in particular are supposed to protect children. You didn't do that in this case. In this case, you terrorized children, and the results have been tragic. It's what happened to these children, and your philosophy in dealing with them frankly seems detached from reality or any objective standard of decency or even common sense. And the court finds that it is appropriate that you serve a prison sentence. The court finds under the statute, Utah Code 76-3-401, given the gravity and circumstances of the offenses, the number of victims, and the history and character and needs of the defendant, that consecutive sentences are appropriate. The court imposes 4 1 to 15-year sentences to be, again, served consecutively for each of the 4 counts of aggravated child abuse.
Thanks, Cody. On Sunday night, police received a call reporting a suspicious van that was parked next to the Walmart on Pioneer Road, which ended the arrest of a Colorado man who was charged with attempted murder. When officers arrived, they found 2 individuals inside the van with smoke coming out of the windows. Police detained the 2 occupants, who were later identified as Rodriguez Davinsky and Nicole Huggins. While speaking to the pair, a 3rd man attempted to get into the van and gave a fake name when police asked for identification. Upon searching the van, police found several child support documents under the name of Joshua Williamson, which was later confirmed with a photo comparison. It turns out that Williamson was wanted in Colorado Springs for a 2nd-degree attempted murder. Police found more than 20 bank cards listed in different names, none of which were present or in the van. They also found a bag that reportedly contained suspected heroin and methamphetamine, as well as baggies of suspected marijuana scattered throughout the van. All three were booked into jail and face multiple charges, and officers say they believe there is another suspect involved who was driving a black SUV and is still at large. Emergency responders extricated a driver after rolling her pickup truck just outside of Hurricane on Tuesday afternoon. The 36-year-old woman was driving westbound when her truck went off the road, through a fence, rolled, and slammed into a power pole before coming to a rest. After responders removed the woman from the truck, she was rushed to the hospital in serious condition, and the cause of this incident still remains under investigation. There was also another crash Wednesday morning that involved a speeding truck and a traffic light on Bluff Street in St. George. Here's Chris Reed with more on the story.
Traffic on Bluff Street at the I-15 on-ramp was slowed down throughout the morning Wednesday after a pickup rammed into a traffic light at the interchange. The crash was still under investigation, but St. George police officer Tiffany Mitchell said the Dodge Ram pickup appeared to be going at an excessive speed off the 15.
So if you can see, he was northbound on I-15 and he got off this exit 6 going fast. We don't know how fast. They were guessing 40 to 60 miles an hour. When he come off and hit this pole, we don't know if it was a medical issue or a speed or distraction. We don't know the cause yet, but he's okay. He was taken to the hospital and he's doing fine now.
The driver had to be extricated but had minor injuries and was quickly released from the hospital. As for the traffic light, it was going to be at least a couple of hours to a day of work to do an emergency replacement for a light that was heavily damaged but still operating. Traffic was backed up on Bluff with one lane closed, but all the on-ramps remained open. UDOT maintenance worker Jaden Smith said the pole was in no danger of falling.
Thanks, Chris. A proposed bill is stirring up controversy as it seeks to ban flavored e-cigarettes and raises concerns about devastating the vape industry. Democrat State Senator Jen Plum, who is also a pediatrician and emergency medical physician, is in support of the bill and commented on how addictive nicotine can be for some people, and how she has seen former heroin addicts unable to beat their nicotine habits. Despite the alternative proposals, the bill has passed through the Senate and is drawing criticism for being anti-business. Some businesses are fearing closure, while health advocates are stressing the dangers of nicotine when it's exposed to the youth. According to the CDC, youth vape use has dropped from 14.1% to 10% between 2022 and 2023. But despite the decline of youth vape usage, the bill continues to progress and it is now headed to the House. Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.